How's it going? It's Don Blanks from Real Gym. I got your man Henri Skiba, and this is Real Gym, Real Talk. Back
Hey,
again.
first of all, it's a pleasure to be on here. And I see Donnie wearing, I love it. I see Real Gym powerlifting apparel.
Yeah, this is one of
And
our new hoodies. Also, I got, now that we're talking, I got my Russian comrades from the
man, I
Soviet
want one right
systems.
off the bat, man. You better start getting up to 5X though, baby. Because I know some big Russians that want that stuff. Right
Yeah, I
off
got
the
some
bat,
cool
baby.
stuff. Definitely,
I think
definitely.
that looks great, man.
We got to
But I
send
noticed
something to
me,
Andre.
you wearing that stuff right there, and I'm wearing my summer shirt. I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for summertime. Almost June, baby. I can't wait for this COVID thing to be over. So we'll all get back to the gyms. I get back to train my buddy Donnie. And I'm just telling you, son, I am psyched.
I think it's Scarface when I see you with that on.
Yeah, look to my little friend.
Al Pacino.
Listen, as you said, Donnie's going to give me the pleasure of starting out today. So we're talking about some of the old-time lifting. And I was there since the beginning. My first meet was in 1977. And everything was just so raw back then. I mean, we really had nothing as far as gear. I mean, everybody used ace bandages, and some guys had belts. Some guys would, some of the cheat guys would actually use denim shorts to try and squat in. And it was just, everybody was going with whatever was out there, and we tried to do what we had, and we really had no sense of training. Most of our stuff came from early bodybuilding training. That's what we used to do. And eventually, we learned what really worked for us, more of a powerlifting type template. We, as a matter of fact, my best friend Kenny Toth and I, we used to do work up to 10 sets of one, like with squats. And we found that it made us very strong. But as we went through time, we also needed to find out how to condition our bodies. Because back in those days, one of the things that everybody wanted to do, when you wanted to lift more weight, we used to get heavier. So we all started out as 198ers. And by the time I was almost at the peak with powerlifting, I was 320. So I mean, it's a big jump. And that's some of the stuff. As far as training, I mean, the equipment was real raw. Power bars weren't even invented yet. We used just like regular bars, put tape on them, so make do what we had. We built our own squat racks. That's some of the things we started with early in the years. But I'll tell you something, one of the things that people today wouldn't even believe, the first meet I lifted in, me and Kenny, we lifted in a meet in Fair Lawn Village Mall, and it was in Pennsylvania, and they wanted us to lift off the back of a truck, a giant truck, a big, I guess a carrying truck where you jump on, it had big shocks, and they put the squat racks up there, and they wanted us to squat off it. And all lifters got together, and they said, listen, we're not going to do this. It's absolutely dangerous. So what we did, we brought it down to the ground, and then we started one of the first powerlifting meets out there. It was a lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie, just crazy-ass people doing their thing and enjoying lifting big weights. And Donnie, I seen him already once we started getting going, and I just saw him. I mean, the kid had so much potential, and I'm just real proud of what you turned into. I mean, you really made yourself strong.
I know I've told this story many a times, but for all our new viewers and everything, how I got introduced to powerlifting, like he said, my first introduction to actually weightlifting, you watch Pumping Iron, I was a young kid. I was highly influenced by Arnold, Franco, Lou Ferrigno. And when I finally got old enough to enter a gym, I was lucky enough to walk into, health club where they had a section in the back that was strictly, it was all the strong guys lifted, and it was not the normal equipment that we utilized to the front of the gym, which was like bodybuilding stuff. So, of course, I'm in my early teens, and I'm working in the front of the gym, and I'm working out. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of people in the gym during midday, and I was the only kid in the gym. And Skeeb actually was one of the big behemoths in the back, and he needed help in the back to put on his bench shirt. So he looked around in the gym. Nobody was in the gym. It was just me. And he said, hey, kid, come here. And I'm like, who, me? He said, yeah, come here. I need you. So I go to the back of the gym, and he said, I need you to help me to pull on the shirt. So I help him pull on his bench shirt. And then he's getting ready to bench, and he said, I want you to stay here and spot me. And, I'm terrified because, he worked up, over 400 pounds, and, I can't, I couldn't hold that type of weight. I didn't think I would be any use to him. He said, I just need you to stand there, and just keep your eye on me. So, he did what he did. He finally finished up, and I went back to the front of the gym, and I was on the universal machine. And then he looks over to me and he said, hey, kid, what are you trying to do? What do you want to be, And I said, I don't care what I look like. I just want to be strong. I want to be strong. And he says, well, forget about all that stuff you're doing up there and come back here. And that was the beginning. He said, all you got to do is 3 things: squat, deadlift, and bench. He said, this is the beginning of this will lay the foundation for what you want to do. And and that started my whole history. I would come on Sundays and I would train with them, and I learned all the basics of powerlifting, and that's why I'm still a goddamn man. 51
Donnie, that was one of the best things I've ever done, because I'm happy later in life now, and you're still coming on, and you get me going. When I go to your gym, man, you make me feel like I'm 27 again. We get back there and we just pull and lift and scream. And I'll tell you something, man, you got to go to the real gym. That's the truth. These people, you got to go to a real gym, and his gym is a real gym. It has it all. That's where you go there. It has attitude. It has the right people. And Donnie's one of those guys that's always there, man. He's not one of those guys that come from somewhere else and don't care about his gym. No, the guy's there. He puts in a day's work. And I'm telling you something, man, it makes a big difference, because everything there, the equipment's always nice, it's always working, and he has a lot of it. I go there, I'm saying, man, I wish I had this or that. He has it. So listen.
Let me tell you something, Skip. You like I said, you got the West Side on the East Coast, but I'm amazed at these guys. Even the past 10 years, the transition of powerlifting and how it's move forward. These guys are moving leaps and bounds. The amount of loads and lifts that these guys are accomplishing now, was unheard of at their weights, the weight classes, back in the past, even,
right.
10, 15 years ago. So, and I think it's, a lot of these kids are very intelligent, the science behind it, they're incorporating a lot of things, and, with modern technology, they're able to figure things out a little bit. Their programming is a lot, more intricate, and a lot of trial and error. And I think they're benefiting from it. It's really amazing to watch how the evolution of powerlifting has come. And I'm digging all these young guys. The Russell Orhees, the John Hacks. These kids, the Larry Wills, what I mean, Kevin Oakes, all of these, young, super powerful, strong guys.
They're super powerful.
Pete Rubish, all of these.
Oh, what a nice guy too, man.
Yeah.
Chris Delafav, my boy Rob Rivera that you usually bring out.
Right.
Listen, I'm telling you something, man. Because Donnie and I were talking before we get on to discuss what we're going to talk about today. And he brought something brand new up to me. I'd like just to talk a little bit, just an overview of what I do, because I do conjugate training. And he's going to discuss a new thing that he talked about that these kids are getting such great progress out of. And the thing that I do Westside type training. And Donnie and I have done a lot of that kind of stuff together. And it's just so simple that basically the template is basically you develop, basically you work one day dynamic, and one day you'd work max effort. That's the easiest day. And you keep switching things around. And one of the things that's such an advantage with it is you have an opportunity to every day set a new PR with a new type of movement. And they usually limit the amount of time spent in the gym to like 45 minutes to 1 hour per session, because what happens, we find that testosterone drops after that. So we maximize our training like the Bulgarians do. The Bulgarians train 3 times a day. And what happens with that is, it maximizes their testosterone, and they don't overtrain, and they make great progress. Now, Donnie has a new thing he was talking about today, and usually I stay up on different things, but he just brought it to my attention, and I like to learn from him, because he approaches things intelligently. I'd like you to explain the exact thing you were talking about before, Donnie.
What I was expressing to you is like a lot of these kids, it's not brand new, but they're utilizing what Gunnar Borg had incorporated, and it's called the Rate of Perceived Exertion, RPE. And so Gunnar, back in the day, he utilized a scale. So it was from 6 to 20. So it had to do with your heart rate. So if I was just sitting in a chair, my heart rate would be a 6. I mean, my rate of perceived exertion would be a 6. And you would multiply a multiple of 10. So my heart rate is like a 60, as opposed to at the top of the scale of 20. Say if I was sprinting or running up a hill, you know, my heart rate would be in the 200s. So that's, you know, the rate of perceived exertion would be a multiple of 10 and it would be 20. So powerlifters have taken that and they created a scale from 1 to 10 where, you know, one would be on the rate of perceived exertion, they use it like this. So say if I was doing a set,
So the higher the number, a higher rate of exertion?
No, what happens is, okay, it's perceived exertion. So say if I was doing a set, say it's all about leaving something in the tank. So say if I was doing 315 for 5, right?
Right.
And I wanted to do that at an RPE of 7. That means I'm going to do 5 reps of a proposed weight, but I'm going to leave 3 reps in the tank. So I could have done 3 more extra reps. So when I'm at my top set or when I work up to my top set, no matter what the weight is, if I'm running at an RPA of 8, I'm never going to really, it's like sub-maximum weight. So, you know, I'm backing off. So I had 2 left in the tank. So I like that because it's kind of like a twist on what I always call instinctive training. Because when I would go in the gym, say if you don't have it all that day, you know, we have set reps. You know, your workload is put out in front of you. You know, we used to write it up. I know I'm going to do X amount of weight for X amount of reps for X amount of sets for, you know, for that time. But if I'm not feeling good, you know, you got to back down the weight, you know. But, you know, back in the day, no matter what, I'm going to hit those numbers. You know what I mean? Sometimes I would never leave the gym until I hit those numbers, where I'm digging a big deficit as far as recovery, especially being a natural athlete. I'm not going to be able to recover from that workload, as opposed to now if I'm working at an RPE, you know, so I'm never going to, I don't never have the threat of overtraining or digging a big enough deficit where I'm not able to recover the next day. And that's how these guys are able to create the volume and do, some of them bench 3 times a week, squat 3 times a week, deadlift 2 times a week, which was unheard of back in the day, you know.
Oh, yeah. We used to go every 10 days or every 14 days.
Right. But now they're able to put the workload, because the volume, because they're getting the intensity, but, you know, they're never going really below a RPE of 6. They're never really over RPE 8 until it's time to test a single rep max.
You know what's amazing? In a way, some of the things are very similar, because really, like when we're doing different things, I mean, there's such a thing as a true, you know, like 10 when you do max lift for Westside. But a lot of times when, you know, like when you're training, it's usually, you know, 8, you know, or something to that effect, because it's like 80%. Right. And another thing I like about your thing that you're talking about is perceived heart with the heart rate. Because if you ever notice Bulgarian athletes, the way we get this idea of like 1 minute between sets with Westside and so forth, it comes from the fact so many times guys, what they would do, if you ever watch Russian athletes, for the longest time they checked their pulse, because they would know what their peak pulse was. And when it dropped down to a certain percentage, that's when they go again. So we're using the same kind of concept, you know, just as a different training tool. Another thing is, with Westside and some different things, we use something called a Tendo unit. And what it would do is, because as people realize that sometimes your max, say everybody thinks your max is 600. Your max is not 600 every single day of the week or every single time. Exactly. What happens is sometimes at some days you may be a 580 or a 610. And what happens is if you're trying to do percentage on that on the 600, you're not going to get to do it. That's interesting, because that's
exactly the philosophy behind this stuff. So RP of 8 is a RP of 8 no matter what load you're utilizing, as
Right.
long as you're honest with yourself. And it's more
But
for
you're going by your interpretation.
your interpretation, but you have to be more of an intermediate to advanced lifted, so that
You're honest with yourself. Because some people,
right.
they're
Some
over there.
guys are coming, they're like, oh, I don't feel, this, that, and make excuses. Then those guys, you got to stick to, the norm. But guys that are pretty honest with themselves, and that just spins off the instinctive training that I always utilize.
I like that. Another tool that's in there too is when you talk about the Tendo unit. Another thing that is a tool that a lot of people don't realize with the Tendo unit, what happens is that you actually you actually measure your velocity, and when your velocity drops to a certain percentage underneath, that's when you're done training. For example, if your goal is like 8 meters per second, all of a sudden if you're going like 9 and the opposite, like 4 and 6 meters per second, you're done. You did your optimal training. Stop. There's such a thing of point of no return. And when you go that far, you burn yourself out. So that's another tool. All these things are taking a look at restorative type things. I like that.
Right. And and that's why I think the gap is coming closer when you have the non-supplemented athletes and the athletes. Their numbers are getting very close. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a big of a difference as it used to be. Eons ago, it would be a guy on drugs, and a guy not on drugs. It was a big gap. Now it's very close. Some guys that
they're paying attention to restoration, like you're saying. That's the key.
Right. Yeah, it's all about recovery. So like back in the day, if I'm drug assisted, I'm able to recover. I'm able to do more work, more volume, recover from it, and get back to it. Where a natural athlete if he's not on top of it, it takes him longer to recover for the next set. And that's But now training and modern day training, applying these different new tools and utilizing them the right way, you're able to recover at the same capacity as a guy that's drug assisted. And
another thing I like model myself after you is because when I was doing my different thing and I got too heavy, I was crazy ass strong. But because my cardio system was so poor, by the end of a meet, I was tired. I mean, I would blow the squat away, blow the bench away. Like, oh my God, I was done. Right. Now, when people are getting in condition like yourself, I mean, you don't carry any extra weight on you. And so that's why you're able, you could squat, you bench, and you still have the same pulling power when you have the deadlift because you're in shape. And I think that's what the new thing is, that a lot of these people with, are stop being just gaining weight just to, to move weight. They're, gaining muscle and conditioning and getting in better shape and looking at restoration.
Right. All of those combined make you a better athlete, and
I believe that too.
It's mind-boggling, but it's good stuff, man. So it's an exciting time for powerlifting right now. It really is.
I also like the way you do things. I mean, when you start a lot of your young athletes, I see you do so many like different things, like the Russians do. They believe in GPT.
That's where I got it from.
Where you do exactly. I see you doing push-ups with the kids or jumping. Like more athletic kids. That's what the Russians really push. They believe in the early phases to do things like play soccer or box or basketball.
Right. You got to see American society, and if I got a kid in baseball, I want him to play baseball all year round. I want to go to baseball camps. I want to start him out at 6 years old, and I just want him to be a baseball player. And they misinform the parent into thinking you have to play baseball all the time to be the best baseball player, to get the best opportunity to be a pro, to get in the colleges you want, and that's a damn lie. And then the same with every other sport, but it's all about a money thing. Because if I lose that kid to football, if I lose that kid to soccer, they don't have them facilitating me, the income all year round. That's what I, believe. It's all about the money. Where early on, kids should be dabble in every type of sport. And it's actually, when you're competing in one sport and then another season in another sport, it's actually restorative to the body,
Exactly.
nervous system. You know, it's different motor recruitment patterns, and it's a better. It keeps you as a better balanced athlete. And people wonder why guys come from overseas and dominate our American sports, because they haven't been doing the same thing, you know, from sun up to sundown their whole damn lives. You know, the amount of wear and tear that's put on a young football player by the time, you know, a running back, if he's been running back ever since Pee-wee and playing spring ball and winter ball, and then, you know, doing all the camps and this, that, and the third, by the time he's college, he's burned out. You know what I mean? He doesn't, you know, rush for hundreds of thousands of yards. How is he going to, you know, it's just asinine.
I want to make a point to you, because one of the things, two of the people I had in my gym, of course, we know Rob Rivera is, you know Rob, and you heard about him.
Right.
And one of the things that his background is, he was a wrestler, he was a jiu-jitsu, and he traveled to Japan to learn about jiu-jitsu. He was a jiu-jitsu, a great wrestler. He made it to the last round for the Olympics. And he was also a handball player. And I mean, he did all these things, and now he just came to powerlifting shortly. This kid is a monster, right? Not only that, I had a young lady, Stephanie, she's out in Texas now. This lady was a soccer player, played soccer all the time. And she came in here and she squatted 550. This was raw, and just missed 6 at about 175. Wow. It's amazing when you see that. Or young, I got Danny Sardone, who's a kid that is 19 years old, squatted 7 already, pulled 650, and benched like 385. And because he played soccer, he did a lot of soccer, strong. That's the stuff you preach, and I like it. I like what you do.
The Kevin Oak guy, you know, he was a collegiate sprinter, you know what I mean? And he's killing it now, you know what I mean? It's like strong, fast twitch.
You've done a lot of different things too, and I did too.
Everything.
You've done boxing. I see you do acrobatics, gymnastics.
Everything.
Right?
Anything and everything. You know, I try to sprinkle in everything. I wish I had played more soccer when I was younger.
Yeah.
It wasn't as popular, you know.
No.
But the only Mexicans did it.
I went to Europe and I learned how to play soccer with my uncles.
The Chicanos did it in my neighborhood, you know. We didn't have a lot of them neither. You know, everybody was.
No, I tell you, I like what we discussed today, because this is real talk. This is real information, and I really like bringing this stuff to the people. I like the way you talked about your RPE. I've never heard about it before. I'm going to go investigate it. And, you know, I'm a Westsider. You know, that's my thing. I just love Louis, because he really has been good to me. And
Louis is a mastermind, but these new young guys, they have a lot. You know what I mean? They have a lot to offer. And the thing is just, you know, it's not real, but it's making it better. You know what I mean? You know?
See, we're all going on. I hope you're going to take the trip with us for July 15th. We're going to try.
Of course, I got to go see Louis. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about
that, man. Maybe you get
Jonathan Livingston Seagull. We got to kick it about that.
Very good. That's his baby, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, very good.
You know what I mean?
See that?
Yeah.
Just because we're lifters doesn't mean we can't be cerebral too.
Oh my God! I know I talk like an idiot. You know, I've been around a lot.
Get out of here! I know you.
You know, I'm not as articulate as I used to be. You know, I kind of get embarrassed when I'm on here. You know, I used to be a lot smarter, but you know, I've been around a lot of fools over the past 10 years. But it's all good.
Well,
they dumb you down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Well. Listen,
you got to be able to communicate on that level.
There you go. I know it's coming out again. Every time we get together with this cat, man, all of a sudden he gets the.
I just make myself laugh. I you know, people think I'm crazy, but I'm always, I tell, you know, jokes to myself. You know, I don't give a damn about it.
I just like when you get ready to lift, man. That's all serious shit. You talk yourself and then you pull it. I don't give a shit what it is.
Life and death, baby.
Yeah, it is, baby. That is
living. You know.
There's a book that came out by Dave Goggins called "Can't Hurt Me." I tell a lot of people you want to read something good. It's really good about a Navy SEAL.
I gotta check it. I dig him a lot. Yeah, he's
his mental tenacity and stuff like that. He takes it serious, like
yeah. You gotta love the guy.
Like he's taking your soul.
What's his thing? Stay hard, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
good.
I dig him a lot. Yeah. But that's what it is, man. That's what, I mean, we all got it in us. And some people need other people to help us bring it out of us, but it's all within you. And you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you go through things, even as a child, that'll shape you and make you who you are. It either will make you or break you. But I don't care. Whatever you overcome makes you strong. So, you know.
Started, Donnie. He's up. We're at the end of the thing, and you're getting bumped up.
But that's what it's about, man.
I know that's what it's about.
Right now, every day, you know what I mean? Every day is another day to live your best life. You know?
I think that's a good, we could end it with that, my brother. What do you think?
All right, yeah.
All right. Listen, man, thank you, Donnie, for always including me. And we got a lot of good things coming up down the road. We're going to do that October 11th. Donnie and I are working together with the IPA Worlds. Right. And we're also, as Donnie said, we're going to do some stuff with run a couple contests out of his place because it's so ideally suited. I don't care bodybuilding or powerlifting. I'm going to bring my stuff over there. And we're going to do it.
So I always have the annual Speedback gathering. It depends if the country opens up, we might be off. The Beast of the Bay show doesn't look like we're going to have enough time, but you know, if so,
I think we're going to make it.
You know, we'll see.
I think we're going to make it, brother.
I just want everybody to be safe. Don't jump the gun. Keep your mask on. You know, don't be stupid. Don't take unnecessary risk. You know, I know a lot of people that passed away from it. It's not a joke. It's not fake news. You know what I mean? I can name
listen,
people that are dead because of it.
Most of all, go to is it realgym.com? How are you on
yeah, you go to realgym.com, Real Gym, 2 M's and Gym, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
GYMM, remember, guys.
Right. 2 M's and Gym.
Yeah.
And always Henri Skiba. You know,
yeah,
Skiba's
listen,
Gym.
if you check us out, it's www.officialskibasgym.com.
There you go.
So listen, man, we got our stuff out there. I can't wait for next time Donnie and I are going to get together and talk. And I just can't wait to get there and train with you, big guy. All right, my brother?
All right.
Till next time, everybody be safe. And Donnie, take it away, buddy. It's your show.
Same bad time, same bad channel. I'll see you guys next week. God bless. Be safe.
Take care, man. Be safe.